My last sentence. Most all parents I have spoken with and have had the privilege of watching their cases all say that the GALs and AMCs are a horrible factor in their cases and that the judges do not listen to the client, just these perpetrators on these children's lives. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, ma'am. Are there questions for Ms. Martone? Thank you very much
Thank you for listening.
For taking the time to speak with us.
Appreciate it.
Ken Krajewski is next.
Thank you, committee members and Senator Coleman. I've spoken in front of a number of you through the last couple of years, and I'm Ken Krajewski. I'm a founder of Save Our Kids Parental Alienation Foundation. I'm a dad, a Marine, an uncle of 14, and a law-abiding citizen. I was also scouted by the Texas Rangers in 1985 before I joined the Marines. 2009, I was awarded a Civil Rights Award by Stephen Walker, the Family Institute of America in Washington, D.C. for judicial accountability and shared parenting nationwide. So I'm pretty well known in Manchester and different places of the country for what I'm doing as advocacy work. I testified at the Follow It Task Force. I deal with parental rights issues all over the country and hold a yearly candle vigil at the Capitol for alienation and its form of child abuse running rampant in the family courts. I started the foundation because of what my children had to endure after I made promises to them that I'd always be there for them. To this day, while it was the best interest to have my children, then and now, living on welfare in a hotel to this day, is beyond belief. Rather than on 30 acres with myself, where they used to fish and ride their quads and see their entire family, 75 cousins, uncles, aunts, and these two judges, Judge Solomon and Simone, who had my case, have a twisted version of the best interests of children. It was made clear that they wanted to exile me from being a dad as my children slowly turn from love to hate, which breaks my heart every day. Many of these issues have been told to other senators and representatives, and personally, I have tried telling Judge Monroe, as far back as a Follow It Task Force, who she stated that she would publicly answer anyone's phone calls on these issues, but she's never returned my call or any other calls. These are some of the things and the things that I have to state. I have virtually most of the transcripts that I ended up buying, and in my 2-year case, I had up to 6 to 15 people in my case that would come to each and every one of your offices, if asked, with signed statements of what I'm about to say. Judge Solomon, calling himself God in his courtroom, while it's full of friends, family, and co-workers, telling jokes to the bailiffs, well, one of us is stupid and it's not me. These are misconducts of all professionals, judges, canon laws, and other things of conduct unbecoming. Promoting child abuse in the form of alienation, that my children went from loving me to hating me in a 1-year period because I was kept away, because I refused to sit in a room for no cause, as my children enjoyed everything that we did for 7 years prior. anytime we wanted. Forcing me not only to become poor to pay for evaluation, I fully passed 100%, forcing me to pay for another one or I wouldn't see my children. I went to another evaluator, which had much more credibility and experience as the first. Numerous broken visitation orders that I produced and my lawyer produced, never enforced, alienating my children even more. Refusing to see police reports of my children in harm's way 2 times by other boyfriends. I don't need to see that. Refusing to see handwritten letters of love for my daughter, which I have right here, and I'll read at the end. Yet, taking his evidence, typed letters with no signature from my ex, saying that my daughter hates me and my entire family. Refusing to hold the other side for contempt and perjury over 16 times. I informed the court guardian it was my time with my children, and my ex purposely said she was in New York, when indeed I found out from other parents and teachers of the school calling me and saying, your son's having his Little League ceremony in Manchester. Nothing was done. These are the things that are blatant evidence that it doesn't matter what laws there are. If a judge doesn't uphold them or doesn't like you, nothing's going to get done. Judge Jorge Simone wanted to start my trial. He ended my trial without due process by law, with 4 more witnesses to testify. He specifically stated weeks before, this trial will not end until all evidence is heard by me. He only listened to 1 witness and then ended my trial without due process. Refusing to acknowledge I had 12 out of 14 points of the custody evaluation recommendation that Connecticut judges usually use for review. Nothing. Blatantly knew about police reports and numerous evictions, yet I was labeled as the bad guy because I'm the dad. I'm the paycheck. And for telling the truth. Refusing evidence statements from my children's principal, stating my ex was scamming the school with false checks and had a false brain tumor that she was telling everyone. Refusing to see a newspaper article of a convicted felon who testified for my ex, her only witness, a convicted felon. That felon went to prison for alienating a 90-year-old woman from her family members, just like I was alienated from my children. I produced up to 50 pictures on the stand rebutting blatant evidence with my family and myself with my children. And the guardian ad litem was stating that I owed her $20,000. And I questioned her illegal doings when my daughter told me that 13 of the times she never talked to my daughter. That's fraud. That's obstruction of justice, and probably a number of other things. As I end this statement to all of you, these 2 judges worked together on my case, have to be either incompetent or have a total disregard for the oath, parents' constitutional rights, or wanton malicious misconduct and refusal to see evidence, even when it's presented from a pro se or from a lawyer. I would like to end this with the letter that my daughter wrote previous to show the love that we had and that she had for me. This is what keeps me going, to be an advocate for parental rights, for judicial abuse. Dear Daddy, I love you so much. You are my papa. I love you so. If I did not have you, I do not know what I would do without you. I want to be with you 24/7, every day. Love, Alex. My father was a World War II veteran, and my parents always told me, the truth never changes, and I will continue to be an advocate and educate the public and work with any of you for any kind of laws so this injustice does not continue in the family courts. Thank you.
What position did you play?
I was a pitcher.
What position your son playing?
My son, I just saw him play 3 months ago. He's a pitcher. He struck out 7 out of 9.
Okay. Well, Texas Rangers know about him yet?
If I am able to get involved with his life again, you know they will.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are there questions for Mr. Krajewski?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. John DiBiase.